Hey, how's it going, guys? So we're back with another reaction video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. We're gonna be checking out another Star Wars video, and this one is called How Abeloth Tore Coruscant Apart Without Even Trying, killing killing billions. And this one is by Stupendous Wave, so shout out and credits goes out to Stupendous Wave for creating this video. Now, Abeloth, I think I've seen her a few times on like a few thumbnails here and there, but I just don't know who she really is. And in my opinion, she's really terrifying because you can see the teeth go all the way back here, almost to her ear and all that. So, and the eyes are like pitch black. So she is a terrifying creature. But how did she tear through Coruscant without even trying and manage to kill billions without trying? Well, that's one mystery, and hopefully Stupendous Wave will explain it very well. So without anything else, let's jump into the video.
Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. While searching
Still
both in
terrifying.
Legends and in Star Wars canon, one would be hard pressed to find anyone that eclipses the pure destructive capability of Abeloth. Her feats in the Force are legendary, as she has been able to achieve what other Force wielders would consider impossible. Many have heard the stories of how Abeloth is able to manipulate the minds of people on a mass scale, or overcome the Force influence of multiple extremely powerful beings including Luke Skywalker and Darth Krayt. But her most infamous feat in the Force would be the destruction of Coruscant. When Abeloth unleashed all of her rage and pain onto the unprepared city, all would fear her wrath and die. The total number of casualties from her rampage numbered in the billions, and both the Jedi and Sith were completely helpless to stop it. The decimation of Coruscant still stands as one, if not the wildest displays of Force power on record. It speaks to hidden levels of power previously thought to be unreachable by any being, and it has brought us to the conclusion that Abeloth is vastly more powerful than any of us had originally surmised. In this holocron, we're going to discuss exactly what Abeloth did to Coruscant, how she broke down the city, and used a Force power that had never been seen before. But before we open the holocron, I have an exciting announcement. I recently started up another channel revolving around one of my biggest interests, that is horror films, the exploration of various cryptids, demons, ghosts, and killers in all of fiction. So if you're interested in
I might have to check that out,
channel linked in the description down below already has several videos uploaded. One concerning the origins of the Death Angels from A Quiet Place, another exploring the Demon King Pazuzu from the Exorcist series, Five Nights at Freddy's, and more. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, be sure to check the description down below for the brand new channel, as I'm proud to announce the Horrendous Wave. But now, my friends and acolytes, let's open the holocron. The destruction of Coruscant came following its liberation at the hands of Luke, who took the planet back from the Sith. In the Fate of the Jedi series, Abeloth was far from the only issue the Jedi were facing. While she was definitely the biggest and most concerning, the Jedi were dealing with multiple galaxy-spanning threats, one of the largest being the re-emergence of the Sith coming from the faction known as the Lost Tribe of the Sith, being led by the individual Grand Lord Vol. Along with them, Luke was facing political troubles coming from an Imperial named Natasi Dala, who managed to rise to the place of chief in the state of the New Republic and threaten the Jedi Order. Dala was on a power-hungry revenge plot to kill Luke and destroy the reputation of the Jedi, a plan in which she was nearly successful. Because of her actions, there was left an opening for the Lost Tribe of the Sith to sneak their way and completely dominate and overtake the Senate. Of course, unbeknownst to them for a time, Abeloth was actually among the Sith in disguise, pulling the strings of the entire operation. Point being, this whole thing was a mess, the galaxy itself. But Luke, Jaina Solo, and the rest of the Jedi rallied together to march on Coruscant and take it back once and for all. The battle for Coruscant would take place mostly in secret over the course of a few hidden skirmishes. But soon, the truth would come out when Abeloth was center stage, revealing herself finally. The story around these events is quite extensive, since
this is around Luke's
over
time.
several novels in the Fate of the Jedi series. But for the sake of brevity, we will summarize by saying that Abeloth's treachery was soon revealed to the Lost Tribe of the Sith, specifically their leader, Grand Lord Vol, who after discovering her infiltration, attempted to destroy her. In the Sith's attempt to bring an end to Abeloth, all they managed to accomplish though was bring her pain, which she then dealt back to them and everyone 20-fold. Pain was not something one inflicted on the Queen of Stars without her own pound of flesh. Reading from the novel, this is what happened next. Her anguish used the Force as a weapon, as she had so often before, but this time she was barely aware that she was releasing nearly inconceivable amounts of Force energy, doing so upon a city that was completely unprepared for it. There were several dozen beings within immediate range, some sleeping quietly in their beds. Most were with their families. They imploded. Farther away, others awoke in agony as their bodies were turned inside out, and chunks were ripped from their bones. The entire city was attacked by a wind filled with glass shards, each a Shakaar driven with a single purpose: to hurt anyone, anything living inside the city of glass. They were the lost tribe. They would suffer, all of them, as their leader had made her suffer. The shards melted as they pierced flesh, spreading white-hot, painful death. The buildings made of metal and glass dripped slowly towards the ground, smothering those unfortunate enough to be dwelling inside of them. The passage equates the glass shards to something known as Shakaar. To clarify, a Shakaar is a Sith weapon, one that was crafted following the Second Great Schism. It is a Force-imbued dagger made of pure glass. This lets us know that not only was Abeloth controlling swarms of glass shards, but each and every one of them were infused with the Force. Essentially, when weapons were imbued with the Force, it made them nearly unbreakable. But not only that, Shakaars themselves were extremely painful to be stabbed with, because of course, they were being a weapon made directly by Sith magic.
Dude, that is insane.
The dark side. It was because of this that the Sith treated them as a disrespectful method of assassination. But Abeloth took it further by melting the shards afterwards, just for the sake of more pain, destroying the Sith with a weapon of their own design. Beyond this, Abeloth was able to use her telekinesis to make the bodies of multitudes of people literally implode. Although this was at least a quick death, some were not as lucky. As the book stated, some were in total agony as they felt their bodies being turned inside out, chunks of flesh and muscle being torn right off their bones before they succumbed to the pain. The only thing we have even close to comparing this is when the clone of Starkiller released a wave of dark side energy, one that was so powerful that it disintegrated a squad of stormtroopers. But there again, compared to what Abeloth did, the troopers got off easy. These innocent people, though, on Coruscant did not. Abeloth definitely was using a form of Force Rend, which is an act of lifting someone with telekinesis and reversing all of their joints or breaking their bones all at once. Of course, this kind of Force Rend is vastly more barbaric, but her savage punishment would not end there.
Hey, that's from Jedi Survivor.
Extended to the point of being able to superheat metal and glass to the point where it became molten liquid. The only Force power we can really equate this to is the Jedi ability of Force Fire, the act of using the Force to cause something flammable to spontaneously combust. The Sith made a more destructive version of this with Force explosions, but of course, no one had ever reached the levels of this terrifying entity. It is assumed that Force Fire could also be used to heat metallic materials as well, but to the point of making them melt, this was something that only Abeloth could achieve. But Abeloth was able to do this with multiple buildings on Coruscant in a single burst. Abeloth created a multi-city block level attack that turned every building around her for miles instantly to lava. But of course, this is Coruscant, where the city is far bigger than average. So this isn't exactly multi-city block level, as it is far more likely to be a large city level. Yet, it even gets worse. Abeloth found herself displeased with the residents of Coruscant, deciding to punish them further with total decimation, tremors that became earthquakes all over the planet. This would only be the very beginning. The cherry on top of this terrifying disaster was absolute anarchy. Abeloth formed a volcano using the Force, bending Coruscant, rending it to her will. Just like her own home planet, Abeloth would make a volcano appear in the middle of the city. This would have required Abeloth to use the Force to literally shift the tectonic plates of Coruscant to make this occur, a feat that goes far beyond the realms of power we've conceived thus far. She would then detonate this volcano, leaving a huge crater on Coruscant of melted ash and ruin. My friends, there was certainly nothing the Jedi could have done against such power. These levels are not recorded by any other being besides perhaps the Bedlam spirits, and this technically wasn't even with Abeloth, was at the very height of her power. By now, she had absorbed so many people's life energy that she was approaching stages of strength in the Force that were unquantifiable. Had she been able to continue feeding, Abeloth truly would have been unstoppable, destroying the galaxy and remaking it as she saw fit, using the feats collected before, and how she reshaped the original planet of the Ones, and the kind of devastation that she wrought upon Coruscant. She was slightly over planet level in terms of raw power, and was likely higher. It was stated that if she had been able to reach the true height of her power, she would have been able to reshape the universe as she saw fit. This means that the decimation of Coruscant was less than 1% of Abeloth's final potential, with it being implied that perhaps there was no real limit to her power at all. She had been able to destroy cities worth of buildings without even meaning to, only by her anguish. It was this alone that released these waves of power. By our own estimation, she had accidentally used 7 extremely complex and devastating abilities. Force abilities
Hell
all
hath
used at
no
the same
fury like a
time.
woman scorned.
Implosion, rend, wind, imbue, melting the shards individually, and then melting the buildings themselves, all on a mass scale. Again, this was without ever her intention behind it. With intention, she was able to shift the tectonic plates of Coruscant to cause earthquakes and summon a volcano. I think the point has been made that Abeloth is vastly more powerful than many assumed, and the threat of her arrival should be equated to Ragnarok for a galaxy far, far away. But of course, my friends, what do you think of this? And did you know that Abeloth was really that strong? Again, if you're interested in horror, cryptids, or other elements such as that, be sure to check out our new channel, The Horrendous Wave.
I might have to.
Thank you as always
I'm gonna
so
make
much
note
for
of it.
supporting and watching the channel, my friends. It means the world to me, and may the Force be with you.
Wow. That's all I gotta say. Wow. How Abeloth tore Coruscant apart. So, this is actually my very first video that I'm actually learning about Abeloth, so I might have to find another video that explains her a little bit more, but this person created a whole volcano. That is insane. And the thing is, she wasn't even trying, so I'm actually terrified what would happen if she did try. Because before her, I thought Darth Nihilus was the most destructive force in the galaxy because of how he's able to consume everything through the Force and just like feed on it so that way he can live. But however, you got Abeloth, who didn't even try and managed to take down Coruscant and shift tectonic plates, creating volcanoes. Dude, that is insane. So I'm gonna have to research it a little bit more, but this was an amazing video. So shout out to Stupendous Wave for doing an amazing job of explaining it, and I don't know what else to say. Like, as I said, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video like I did, because I really enjoyed this one. And make sure to hit that notification bell so you know when I drop another video. And if you guys have any suggestions, please put it down in the comments below. I'll make note of it. And as always, thank you so much for your guys' support. I really do appreciate it. And until then, I'll see you guys next time.